no.
we absolutely just captured this land and just, took it over. We killed this many people and who was there counting? Oh, we did. Oh, okay. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. And how many losses did you have? Oh, it was only this many. Like, oh, okay. Yep. All right, so stream is up. Here we are,
Hi,
theoretically.
Laos.
Hello, Laos. Yes, I do want
Yes, hello,
whatever
our fans.
I do want whatever tips you're going to give me on how to get more viewers or something involving illicit propositions. Um,
Oh boy.
so this will likely, hopefully, be the final session of the second module in this three-part series.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. So last time on our illustrious story of Dragon Ball Z, we had successfully made a deal with Claw Ligmatar in their lair.
We're best buds now.
Yeah, exactly. Holly became bestest of
The
friends.
best of buds.
Bestest of friends with this particular green dragon.
I gave her a present and I took some of her moss. Now we're friends.
Yes, exactly. The moss. She gave the moss freely. It was like, oh,
Mhm.
the perfect thing to give you. Have some of this moss.
Yeah.
We wandered out, began our hunt to potentially see where things may be in terms of this undead force that is besieging the lair. We have some hints about where it may be from the prior investigation that we had done in the woods. We made camp in a semi-familiar location that we had found last time, where there was a cold spot in some kind of planar weakness, where the veil was maybe a little thin and the planes maybe were getting a little close together in terms of becoming one. So we made camp. Nothing much happened through the night, except for a vision. A vision of a dark, shadowy, winged figure flying over the forest.
It's our lad.
And then it was day. And that's where we'll pick up. So you guys, having had camp, slept the evening, are currently on the hunt trying to locate the source of these undead menace in the Crypt Garden Forest. And basically everyone is awake. You can see to your provisioning and meals and break camp whenever you're ready and let me know where we're going. So,
Well, I think it's like early morning then.
yeah, basically.
Zen will try to be. Zen took the last watch, so he would have been up before everybody else, and will have probably gone hunting to get breakfast ready for a lot of us.
Fantastic. Let me just check something real quick here. All right, so you got a 7 out of 8, so that's pretty decent. You caught very very choice meat.
Everybody wakes to the smell of choice meat being cooked.
Choice meat of whatever type, apparently. It's just choice.
Whatever meat it is.
It's like Walmart brand. It's just boom, choice meat.
Or venison. Pick your take your choice. Take your pick.
Choice meat. Okay. All right. So that being said, you are effectively roasting, I assume, or stewing whatever meat you may have had, and everyone is welcomed by the illustrious aromas.
Yes, fall in love with my aroma.
That's one way.
And you are maybe all perhaps reminded of the events of the prior evening, where you seemed to have seen the sight of a black shadowy figure flying above the trees, but maybe only one of you saw it, maybe all of you saw it. You aren't really sure, but you know that you all or at least each individual person experienced it vividly last night.
I begin getting the tents kind of all packed up and ready to go for the most part. Kind of just mulling it over in my head slightly, as I think, because the shadow, did it have a particular shape? In nature, you said it was draconic last time to describe it, correct? Or draconian?
It was a large, winged dark figure.
Always fun to deal with those.
Batman.
Most definitely not Batman. Batman doesn't fly.
Batman.
Tell him
Falling
that.
with style.
Batman doesn't fly, he glides.
Man.
Man-Bat is another story.
This is true.
So yeah, I'll be getting the animals and the tents ready so that we can roll out before I have any food.
Okay.
I am happily partaking of some cooked meat.
Some choice cooked meat. Delicious.
Yes,
Perfect.
Holly is all about cooked meat. Fuck you! That's low.
Just so you guys, I said it's seasoned like her homeland.
Oh.
I didn't realize it wasn't on mic, sorry.
No, well, yeah. He didn't mic up, so it was kind of like something is happening here.
Holly will recognize this and kind of quiets. She's already pretty quiet as it is, because it's morning and they all just woke up. But it definitely sits a little differently with her. But she will happily partake and start readying her own horse.
Very well. Yes, and you have a shoulder companion there, Knight.
It's a tiny Holly.
All right, well, the sense of what the map markings from your prior inquisition of nature directed you towards the presence of a evil or fiendish styled force that was to the slight east-southeast. And similarly, along the lines with that was a feeling of kind of a dark undead energy that was in that vicinity. But not quite the exact same location.
Okay. Did Holly get a sense of roughly how far apart they are? 'Cause I know she can do it like within what?
Judging
3
by, yeah, within 3 miles of her. So, I mean, judging by the distance and the deviation on the map, it's probably half a mile, maybe a mile at best. Not
Okay.
far enough that you theoretically couldn't quickly traverse between 2 locations in a short
Right.
order of time, but because you're in forest, probably not something you'd be able to have a line of sight to.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. Okay.
I am more than willing to do it again once we get a little bit closer, if we need to. It is very simple to do.
I'm fine with that. I do think that we will probably want to deal with the demonic force first. More often than not, those tend to get more havoc and destruction. The undead one, we have a very good shot of it just being stupid.
He's not wrong.
Well, I mean, given that our last 2 instances of quote unquote, and if I had a camera, I would be doing air quotes with my fingers right now, stupid undead issues involved a giant ship crashed into the Sword Coast, and, well, what appears to be your arch rival.
They were the undead on the sticks in front of the dragon.
Oh,
Pit, so
yes,
that was
the undead on
quick.
the sticks. I don't know. I'm pretty concerned about the whole undead thing, but I will say that yes, the demon thing is kind of a problem.
So, what is the game plan then? What would you like to do?
I vote that Holly determine whether or not there's an undead source. Whether or not there's an undead source.
Do we need a minute so you can finish playing with Binks with the laser pointer?
No, I'm sorry.
Little person.
I'm fine for either one, but where it's concerned, I say we deal with the demon first. The demon more than likely precipitates the undead in some way in this, I would imagine.
Yeah, but
And to your point, it's more
I
than
agree.
likely not Selleck. He is definitely not my rival. He is something to be killed and put out of its misery.
so if Holly can detect a demon to the southeast, then yeah, we go southeast. But if this vision that we had was the demon flying northwest, maybe we go back northwest and help old Nabo.
What vision? What a vision?
I saw things flying. I don't know if it was a vision.
I had a really weird dream last night, but I don't know what you're talking about with visions.
Describe your dream.
Yeah, but you're a druid. You see things in dreams, right?
He's like on Knight's ass tonight. I'm sorry.
Zin will go in to describe his dream. I saw black wings in this dream. Was vision. It was something heading in the direction that we came from. And while I do not think it was a dragon, I cannot discount the possibility. In addition, we knew that there was a demon or a fiend of some sort down to the southeast. It would make sense that it came from that direction, as that is our only, bless you, only, how do you say, destination?
Interesting. Holly, did you have the same dream as Zen, I take it?
Very much so. Very similar.
And then Calvary and Talia.
Agreed. Yes.
And then I did as well, which does not exactly bode well. The last time we had a vision was of a future event, however, so we may get lucky in that that is something that might come to pass if we royally screw things up.
I will royally screw you up. I'm sorry. He does not say that. He does not say
I
that.
feel
I
like
was
some
gonna say,
Azzy
just wanna
coming
say it
out.
in that accent just once.
Your meta thirst is showing.
Yeah, I think Talia would be in agreement with the plan of using some sort of magic or divination to figure out exactly, or a better approximation of the nature of each of these things that's going on, because yeah, I definitely had the same dream or vision or whatever you want to call it, because big dark wings going over us. To be honest, it felt like a shadow.
I do not know much about demons and fiends, and I do not know how big it was, but it was big enough to see in the blackest of night, so...
Well, hearing everyone in agreement, Holly will take her her ritualistic items out, her little cauldron, her mask, everything, and she'll kind of place it down. And I will go ritual cast Commune with Nature.
Okay, very well.
And a giant spirit bear comes and will tell me the things I want to know.
That is so cool.
I don't know that
hang
you
on a
actually see it beyond her.
I do.
No, you do. But I don't know if they do.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know if they do because it's technically a barbarian feat, but
Yeah,
No.
she's the one that's communing here with nature. I don't think you know
Yeah.
what's going on.
I did not say that I was saying cool to the bear. I thought it was pretty cool that she was just doing barbarian druid things.
it just says at 10th level you can cast the Commune with Nature spell, but only as a ritual. When you do so, a spiritual version of one of the animals you chose for totem spirit, or aspect of the beast, appears to you to convey the information you seek.
It's just to her, I believe, because it's a lot like a vision quest, quote unquote.
She smokes the peyote. Everyone else basically sits around like,
Smoking the nip.
What did she see? And she's just like, woo!
Glad I wasn't the first person to think about the cat doing drums.
Zin is
So-
kind of like hovering over her, going.
You're
It is
already
good shit.
stoned.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the spell again.
That's okay. I remember the three components being like planar, dimensional force, either a high celestial or fiendish entity or power, and whether or not there's a presence of anything like high magical something or other, like undead or whatever, something like that was in the mix. So
Terrain and bodies of water, prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or people.
Right.
Powerful celestials, fays, fiends, elementals, or undead. Influence from other planes of existence, and buildings.
So obviously, all around you, you've got the planar influence, and looking on your wayfinding powers with this vision, you similarly see the positioning of what you had seen prior for the power of whatever you might call a magical force to be present. However, you no longer seem to really feel a fiendish presence.
Okay.
So,
I will relay this to everyone.
You no longer sense the fiend.
No, that's presence is maybe not gone, but definitely not within the distance it was before. I cannot see it. My bear spirit cannot see it.
Well, that at least does also save us the turmoil, possibly, of it being north of us where we just were at this point. Though that does leave more questions than answers, but for now, I guess we head for the undead presence since that's the only one left in the forest.
And that was the only part of our deal.
Yes, it was, but the fiend has me concerned if it actually was something of great import.
I watched you nearly obliterate a fiend in about 3 strikes. I am not afraid.
That makes one of us. Holly, do you still have a rough idea of where it was where you last sensed it?
Last sensed it, or since it's we're talking about the fiend, right? The one that's gone now.
Yup.
I'll point that direction that it was.
Well, let's head there after we deal with the undead. We might be able to find something as to what's going on with it.
I'll pack up all my stuff again and get on my horse and get ready.
all right.
Still chewing on some breakfast.
Yeah, Granny's gonna hook her aged horse up to the wagon because she's kind of feeling it. She's gonna ride today. No horses for me. I'm not dealing with that. No.
Fair enough.
I get atop my companion feed and mount up.
Okay.
I do ask it if it noticed anything last night as well about a fiendish presence, because it is intelligent.
Right. So it conveys to you in its kind of, I guess let's call it mental link, not so much that it can really talk,
Correct.
that it sensed a great dark presence flying above.
Great. That's great. Okay. I take that and I nod to it and I give it a nice pat on its neck and kind of come out its mane as we begin moving forward.
All right, very well. So everyone effectively tends to their pack animals in packs, builds up the little party once more for travel, and you begin the transit through the off-road terrain of the forest. Let's get a nice vibrant color here that we can all see against the background. So you set
that we
out.
can all see.
Yeah, I haven't drawn anything just yet. So you started basically here at the Blue X, and you began traveling in this direction over here towards the presence, where you had heard from the spirit animals of the undead, as it found. And as you are effectively making this journey, trying to locate this particular location, feel something odd is afoot in the forest, almost as if the forces of nature there have been bent or kind of twisted. Something feels off. So, someone can either roll for the group, or if you would like to all roll independently, we can figure out how I want to work this, but I need to get a wisdom survival check to determine if we're able to properly ascertain what may or may not be happening around us.
18.
I will assist Holly since I know she is much better equipped for this than I am.
What are we rolling specifically?
Survival.
Survival?
Yes.
I only have a +1 to survival, so.
I have a +3, so.
Oh, none of us are really good for the woods.
I would say Nokris might have like a -1. Who knows?
No, I have a +1 as well.
Okay.
I had a
It's this
+5.
The Death Cleric.
Calorie. As the Furbolg,
Death Cleric.
adept
It's
in the
wisdom.
woods.
Not the Tabaxi who grew up in the mountains. No.
No. It's
No, the
Death Cleric that
Furbolg.
grew up in the catacombs and the crypts.
Right.
He grew up in the woods
Mm-hmm.
So,
for 50 years.
feeling your way through this kind of hazed, twisted feel of the woods, Calorie, you're able to kind of determine that there are some odd magics afoot that are trying to conceal the presence of something within the area. Knowing what you know about what you should be looking for, you have to assume that whatever this undead presence is being masked from visibility. Maybe it's just a simple spell hiding it. Maybe there's a ritual involved. Maybe it's crossed the planar dimension and is lying in wait on another plane. You are not completely sure. However, you do know that somewhere in the vicinity to your southeast is where this undead presence should be. So, let me wait for you to make a determination on how you would like to approach, and if you would like to use any specific elements involved in a search, or if you'd like to simply just stroll right over to the spot where it should be and see what happens.
First I skip closer to the others and try and quietly explain that it feels off, like something's trying to mask the undead presence, possibly a magical means, that it couldn't involve the kind of energies that we had felt before. And how they think we should proceed. Well, I would just walk in. They might not want to just stroll on in.
Cal was just like, let's go, man. Doot, doot, doot.
Holly nods and kind of quietly agrees. The forest is too quiet here. And she'll slip on her mask just ahead of time.
Okay. Mask on. Anyone else with any thoughts about this particular scenario?
Well, obviously, if it's somehow being masked, I mean, we're probably going to end up dealing with some form of spellcaster, assuming that there's hostilities that are awaiting us in that general area. So, and knowing our luck, they are. So I would prefer if we had some of our.
Let me go.
Well, none of us are
forward.
squishy, so we're not a party of squishies. So
Avril's characters are always squishy. Doesn't matter what they are.
But it's not. Well, that's bad decisions that make that happen. Look out, right?
We won't go into those decisions at this time.
yeah, no, not yet. But I would definitely suggest someone like Nokris definitely be ready to attack from range, because you and I both know, as Talia looks at Nokris, like, if there's magic involved here, then yeah, we're gonna need to fight from a distance. So,
It's one way of dealing with the issue. Another is up close and making sure
Yeah.
it doesn't have time to speak.
If it is just a magical presence to obscure the dead, I could attempt to spell the effect, but
would there be any particular benefit to dispelling the effect, which is obscuring it?
Things might come at us. They might
Wait.
not like being seen.
we'd at least be able to see them when they come at us.
We're just detecting this now, right, Junie? It's just this odd feeling that's going on.
Correct.
I will pop one of my divine senses for the day.
Okay.
Just to see if there's anything in the immediate area that is evil, affected by the hollow or by the hollow spell, and if there's any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
So within range of where you are currently positioned, you can sense an evil presence. Probably about 45 feet, give or take, in that direction. To the south.
Okay. I'll look in the direction through the south, and after that, I will cast. I'll cast message, and I'll point it towards Holly. There is something evil 45 feet to the south. I can't see it, but I'm going to continue ahead a little bit to see if I can draw its attention.
As he's like passing me, I'll just kind of give a nod, and I'll reach out and brush my fingers across his arm and cast guidance.
Okay.
And then I will move forward 45 feet. And I'll continue moving forward to see if I can draw its presence, just because, although I am lawful neutral, I am a paladin of some type, so maybe that will get its attention, if not just outright attack me as the first one that comes through. But I am on the lookout to intercept it if it decides to do anything.
Okay.
And I am deliberately walking like exactingly by it, so that's very close, but not paying much attention, just because Divine Sense gives me the idea of where it is. I don't think it pinpoints its location.
Right. Gives you like a rough estimation of
Or
you look that way, probably about this distance, and it's somewhere in that allotment. So
that's my plan.
Okay. All right. So you kind of begin your slow march.
What's up, Harper?
Oh no, I'm just thinking. Can Talia prep a firebolt in case anything like leaps out and engages with Nokris in a hostile manner, like attacks him?
Sure.
Okay.
The way you said that makes me very suspicious.
Why?
How far away is he?
At this point, from your current position, he's gotten roughly about 35, 40 feet away.
Keep him within 30.
All right.
I'll
As,
drop back a bit to be closer to Hollis for when things kick off.
So basically, as Nokris is moving forward, his base and obvious perception is able to kind of discern that there's a shape, an allotment of stones and clearing on the floor of the forest, kind of a little ways to his left now as he's making his maneuver. And as he gets a little closer to it, I can discern that the shapes kind of seem to fit that of a pentagram.
I will get off of Scylla, and I will give them a kind of pat on the neck and telepathically command them to kind of go wander off a distance as if you're going to go forage, so that if something dumb happens and I'm the one to trigger it, at least I'm the one that gets hit.
Fair enough. The horse.
I mean, yes, it's a steed and it's a horse, but it's intelligent, and yeah.
Right. Very well. So yes, the horse kind of understands and wanders probably 80 feet or more back the way that you came from before searching for anything interesting to eat.
So I will then slowly walk over to the pentagram and keep my eyes kind of ready for something, but I will also examine what it is on the ground specifically and to see what exactly it appears to be used for. If it's just someone having a gaff, or if this looks like it's part of a more intricate ritual, which if it is, I'll then further investigate, but I'll leave that until I have a better look at it.
Okay, very well. So, as you find the location and begin your closer investigation, you note that the objects laying around in arrangement that originally from on horseback that you thought were just stones or some kind of other loose form turn out to actually be some painted bone skull objects that are arranged at the points of the pentagram. And you see, kind of etched into the ground and kind of not really hastily, but kind of with purpose, scratched away and dug at the floor of the forest. The shapes drawing the connecting lines between them. You don't see any source of flame or fire, things that you would normally assume are present to go in with a, kind of a ritual of this type.
Okay. Now seeing that it actually does look like it might be part of a ritual of some type, I will try and understand it a bit more, and I will use a knowledge religion to see if it's part of any religious affiliation that I'm aware of.
Okay. You want to roll for me?
16.
So from as best as you can determine, you have seen in books and in other studies that this type of arrangement is generally used by the followers of Merkel for various rites. You're not quite sure exactly what it may be, but none of them are tea parties.
Fucking Merkel.
No. Am I able to ascertain if this was the presence that I sensed Junie for evil?
From what you can tell, you do not believe that this particular ritual is the source of the evil that you sensed.
Okay. I guess the next question is, does it look like it's rather recent, or has it been here for a little while?
It has been there for a while, but you can tell from the kind of, I guess, the lay of the lines that they have been kind of renewed and refreshed from time to time to keep them kind of nicely exact.
So, just make sure I still have this. I think I do.
What are the
I-
consequences of breaking that?
Oh, trust
I
me.
don't know.
I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pick this thing off real good,
So-
and it's going to jump out at me.
Can I, as he's investigating this, can I move closer?
Yeah, I mean, currently you're at a 30-foot distance, so I figured you were saying you want to stay within 35, so I kept you within that in terms of
Yeah.
the lay of everything.
Yeah, that was until like the 30 feet. I can see the stone corner of one of the corners of the pentagram. So,
Yeah, you could see it.
well, like I'm just saying. No, I mean like in my circle of view on the
Right.
map, I can actually see it. So,
Right. So you would effectively then be able to approach if you had the interest or whatever the case may be.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna not approach him directly. I'm gonna kind of veer off a little bit south towards this tree,
Okay.
southeast, and I'm sort of gonna post up about right here.
Does
So
anyone else want to position or move in as the scene is unfolding?
I think I probably would, depending on how long it has been since like Knockers noticed this and decided to go check it out. Like time
Well-
wise, are we talking like a couple minutes?
Yeah, most a couple minutes. I mean, the pacing
Yeah.
of kind of moving in to investigate was such that he was able to detect that, hey, it's in that direction, about this distance, and there was the quick discourse that happened, telepathically between him and Holly, and then he kind of started kind of slow cantering the horse towards where he was going to investigate cautiously, and everyone else kind of cautiously followed. You then were sitting there preparing your spell to be ready to release at a moment's notice, but at the same time could simply just make a cautious movement coming in from where we were off to the west, outside of scene. So the
Yeah.
gist of the amount of time that's probably elapsed in this, movement in an investigation that's now unfolding is probably somewhere about 1.5 to 2 minutes time.
Yeah, I think if it's been anything, more than like a few seconds, I think that's the point where Talia would get concerned and start moving forward, and she would probably release the spell. Like she wouldn't be keeping it anymore.
Okay.
Like if she's the type of person that if she's going to hold a spell, it's going to be because she thinks that there's an imminent threat.
Very well. All right, so the spell is released.
Well, Holly's definitely going to move in because of what Nakris messaged her. So she's kind of scouting, really keeping an eye out. But I'll stay slightly behind him.
Okay.
So I'm like right about there or so.
Very well. And Cowrie, you wanted to try to keep pace or keep near Holly. Is that the gist of what you had mentioned previously?
Yeah,
Yes, stay with me, Squishy.
stay about there. About a step between for let's not be too close up against each other.
Yep, that's fair.
So,
All right,
If
so
no-
everyone has followed you in for this investigation.
yeah. So, with that, as I'm getting there, I take out one of my flasks of holy water, and I say a small prayer in I just say a small prayer, and then I begin to kind of sprinkle it throughout this pentagram as I am going. So I am making sure to break its individual connections to the different skulls with the holy water, and then also just taking my boot and my greatsword and kind of removing any of the connections and really messing it up.
Okay.
And while I'm doing this, I'm still kind of sprinkling it, but I'm also keeping my eyes out on the different pinpoints of the woods where I can see an attack possibly coming from. Because I'm expecting this act to, if the thing is still around and it's connected to it, I'm expecting it to be really pissed off at this.
Noted. All right. So you begin your ritualistic dousing of good nature and holy power upon this feasibly evil presence. And you begin to disrupt the circles of the ritual. And as you do so, breaking the lines, some
Bitches.
ghostly shapes
Bitches.
materialize into the plane almost in a anguished state, like they have kind of been ripped from whatever they were focusing on abruptly by this jolt of disruption, and this holy energy basically just made them recoil from what they were doing. And among the middle of the circle, focusing and channeling the most, you find what appears to be a female figure, one that has become a master of death itself and the arts and magics related thereunto.
Head bitch.
She clutches at her head, wearily, having been ripped from her focus on what was happening, suddenly now seeing your presence around her.
It's good to know that people still answer the door when knocked.
And who invited you?
I invited myself.
She kind of sneers while she's regaining her and surveying what's happening around her now. Well, you have certainly found me. What are you here for?
I mean, because you're royally pissing off someone who owns this domain. And I'm here to tell you to leave. And I draw my greatsword and point it right at her. Either by your own accord or through the end of my blade. Take your pick.
So as you kind of deliver this ultimatum to her, she kind of recoils back a little bit from the sudden presence of a blade being pointed at her, clutching at a pendant around her neck, kind of an onyx stone, and basically looks at you, kind of sizes up the party. Well, I know that I am outmatched, but if you are here for a fight, you will have one. And so she kind of opts for a moment, weighing her decision, and waves her hand off, calling off the specters as they dematerialize again back into the plane, the ghostly plane from which they came. And then she speaks to you plainly. What is the meaning of driving me from here? Has someone paid you? Has someone driven a force upon you to to send me away?
We come upon request from the
Old Gnawbone.
Ah, the great dragon. Very well, very well. Well, my master would not be pleased with this situation as it unfolds, but I have nothing much that I can do to contest it.
It's your Master B.
Ah, my master. Ulran Mortus, the leader of the sect of Merkel within this very realm.
Why is he wanting to pick a fight with Kaligi Matar?
I know not his divinations or the source of his focus. I only know my orders. My orders were to be here, to summon forth the undead, and to send them on their way under his control to do his bidding.
And what bidding was that?
I know not.
Is that anything you do know?
Well, I know that if I'm to be driven from this, you likely should bring me to this dragon. I will try to parlay any terms possible within what I am able, instead of my master.
Lucky for you, the dragon has asked us to bring you back to them. Though, under what means she did not specify, although I am sure she will prefer. Unlife, in your case? As I kind of sneer at her a little.
Such a form does not fear. I fear not the death, the passing of this plane.
You may not, but there are things that even your kind can fear. One of particular stronger will than your master, I am sure.
Oh, mayhaps, but this is simply my charge, it seems. I have been played the pawn on the board, and now it is my turn to be taken.
Then, by all means, come with us. I am sure you do not, and you seem to understand the circumstance of your predicament, so I don't think I need to force your hand, although it would not be a bother to me if you did have me force it.
I will go peacefully.
Good. And before we are away from this place, I have one final question for you.
Yes, speak it.
What do you know of the Red Fingers and what their purpose is here in this area? You are of Merkel. Surely you know of what Vecna's handpicked agents want.
Well, I can only really guess at the motives, having not been in communication with him in such a way. However, I believe that it could be a power play, much as it would be. The forces of undead here seem to be rising, much to the forces of chaos. The Talisites definitely have made their presence known.
Did a man named Selleck ever visit you in your time here?
No.
I'll roll an insight check just to be safe on that one.
Go ahead.
Although she has no real reason to lie to me. 14.
Yeah, as best as you can make out from her posture and everything else, is she's kind of speaking plainly to you in her kind of surrendered form. She's not lying to you.
I kind of figured. All right then. With that, I put away my greatsword. I put it back on my back, and I just kind of after you.
All right. And so the Deathlock Mastermind, Viantha Cruelhex, begins the march among you back to the lair.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's not. Are you hiding anything else?
Hiding anything else? You take me for a simple thief or charlatan of some kind? No, I am not hiding anything else.
I take you for dead meat.
Well, I'm not far off.
I look to Nokris. You sense anything more?
I'll cast Divine Sense one more time. See if I get anything else besides what it's probably going to tell me. She very, very, very evil
Yes, from her being you
and
sense
reeks of death.
heavy evil presence. Shocker.
Stench of evil and undeath consumes her wholly. She is what I sensed when we got close. There's nothing
Then-
else here to hide. She has her hand. She knows better than to play at anything coy. After that, I do cast message one more time. This time I point at Zen and I say, keep an eye on her. Make sure she doesn't do anything stupid.
Zin's sort of carrying his sword over his shoulders like this.
Okay.
Just like ready, you know? Like make a move, I'm already ready for you.
After she has decided to walk, and I kind of look back and give Holly a nod as well, that to make sure that she stays within range with her in case she tries anything funny. I continue my removal of this desecration on the ground and make sure it is completely and utterly destroyed now.
Very well.
As he's destroying it, I will make sure that Zin kind of has an eye on her for a moment, and I'll hang back with Nokris. I don't like this. This was too easy.
Everything about this is too easy. The fact that the dragon let us in, the fact that the fiend flew away, the fact that all I had to do was knock on their door and they didn't try and rip my soul out for whatever they were doing. It's all too easy. Something big is at play, and I don't like it.
There were many ghosts here. This could have been a fight, but she agreed to come back immediately. She wants to go to this dragon.
We'll just have to make sure that whatever she is trying to play at does not transpire. If it does, we'll be ready to try and stop it. The wheels are in motion, unfortunately.
We'll just have to keep an eye on her then.
Besides, Caligulatar did state that she had a preference for it to be alive.
But it's not alive.
Oh, I still live.
It is
You
about
can't hear us. Go away. No
What do you mean?
metagaming.
What do you mean I can't hear you?
I look back over.
Go away.
You are dead.
Zin is just kind of like blocking everybody's view as he towers over this puny little thing.
You are nothing but reanimated flesh niched together with magic, and I can easily cleave it in twain if you wish.
He's right. I've seen it. It is pretty cool.
But you wish to speak your piece, and you haven't attacked us yet, so I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. As they say, judge not the cover, but the contents of the book.
Yes, there is definitely wisdom in that, yes.
Zin's...
Go.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even if the book is an old, moldering piece of crap.
Find me
Zin-
a book that isn't.
Zin's brow kind of furrows. I cannot read.
Holly goes to say something about that, but then stops herself.
We'll ask Galio for a picture book when we get back, Zen.
Perfect.
Why? I can see. I don't need pictures. Go, move, woman.
Well,
Thing.
so she continues to move along pace. Do you want her to be in front of everyone as you go, I'm assuming, or in the middle of everyone? How would you like to kind of align the procession, as I guess is
Middle.
the word I'll use? Put it in the middle? Okay.
That would be my tactical assessment. Yes, middle.
I will
Because
be
then
right
she's
at
less likely.
her. I'll be right behind her.
I'll take a place behind her too.
Oh, well then I'll take a place in front of her.
Fair enough.
Well, in that case, I will stand to the side of her, so that way she's got someone in front, 2 people behind. That way we can try and cover every angle.
I'll be back at the back of the group trying not to want to murder them, because she's an undead abomination.
Can you do that with a little more sing-song in your voice?
An
The Death Cleric not
undead
liking the undead.
abomination. Come with me. Killing spree.
And we'll kill some evil abominations.
Exactly.
Alright, someone get that idea off to Ginny D, like, stat.
Perfect. All right, so you have your positioning, and effectively will, corral and lead your prisoner, for lack of a better term, back to the lair. And go back over here. All right, so you have since now removed the presence, so to speak, from its prior location. And the planar location is still there. And you now escort this prisoner back to the lair. I assume that in terms of pacing, you're probably keeping what would effectively be a walking pace, because they don't have anything to ride on, unless you're going to put them on a horse or in a cart of some kind.
No, fuck that shit.
So,
No, that
okay.
bitch ain't
Drag it
touching our
behind them.
fucking cart.
That's why I had to say probably a walking pace, and so I did. So, with that in mind, you make your way through the forest. She makes no attempt to flee, and makes no attempt at small talk, mostly because she seems to feel that such things are beneath her in this time. Unless she were to potentially try and persuade someone that the teachings of Merkel are the true path.
Good luck on
Fat
that one.
chance.
But she doesn't seem to find any believers among you, so she
Zin-
stays her tongue.
Zin
Make a
does.
decision.
Zin does ask her. So who are you in life?
Well, I was Viantha in life. I was a simple servant girl. Nice. A simple servant girl. Somewhere far to the south. Left my thoughts as that life is far behind me.
Was it death that made you this, or did you choose this in life?
Oh, well, you may not see the gift in this form as I do.
Do not claim to see what I see. Just answer questions.
Oh, well. So then this form, this gift bestowed upon me by my master and my god, gives me the power to weave flesh and soul. And from that, my payment is simply my form and my obedience.
That did not answer my question. The question was, Did you choose this in life or in death?
Well, I think any such individual who would be in the good graces of a god of death would not be able to convey the proper level of prostration to receive a second term of life or unlife in his servitude. So, to your answer, I chose this form in life.
Thank you for answering questions.
You get, at most, you get a nod out of her.
I'm not looking at her. He asked those without looking at her. I'm walking in front of her.
Very well. So you kind of make pace at a simple gate. It basically takes you, you go the distance of probably about, let's call it 6 miles. I don't know, give or take, through the woods. So it takes you probably about an hour and a half with rough terrain. Nothing too crazy. At a simple enough walking pace. And you find yourselves back at the lair. So we find ourselves at the lair. I have to actually pull in Viantha, so give me 1 second here.
So is this the part where we fast travel and cutscene directly to Old Gnawbone's sleeping quarters?
Correct. Yeah, I'm not gonna make you guys walk
/
through the cavern.
throne.
I'm not gonna make you guys walk through the cavern to get to the scene. So
We don't
Do we
have any
want-
more druids that are pissed off at us.
Do we? Yes, we do. We have 2 of them. Do we want to bind her hands at least before we come in here? Or is that unnecessary or unnecessary precaution?
that is entirely up to you.
Knowing what the undead can do, it's probably a pointless precaution more than anything.
I would do it just to be safe.
Zin will stop as they reach the entrance to this cavern and put his hand to the female's chest, stopping her. You will bind your hands now.
She does as best as she's able to bind her own hands, which is to say that she maybe can tie one, and then
I take the other and bind it.
Very well.
Is she squishy?
No more squishy than normal flesh.
So she still has the texture of living flesh.
Yes.
Flesh.
Living
Okay.
fish.
Yes. She has the texture of living Tesh.
Stop
She
feeling
has
up the
the
NPCs.
She has
Shut
the
up,
texture
clue lover.
of
The
a-
the Teshu has some spring to it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, does she have the texture of a well-roasted hog that still has the skin on it?
No, it's not like hide at this point. It's not so like dried that it's hide. It would be
After
it would be kind of like almost like a form of mummification, except there's moisture still there, if that makes sense.
after he binds her and like he really does it, like he's almost kind of like purposely hurting her to make sure that if she does any movement with her wrists, she's more likely to break it than do anything than to actually get any movement out of it, or she would have to break it to get movement out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does this behind her back and then grabs the bindings, and I'm sure picture both of her hands in his one hand with these 2 fingers grabbing the binding, and with his other hand he raises his flame tongue into the air, speaks burn to light the area around them, and then marches them forward.
He then whispers quietly, "Now what's the safe word?"
Banana.
You will not have time to say it.
All right, so Now that she is properly restrained in the form from which Zin has deemed necessary, you effectively make your way into the room, bringing Viantha forth. Let me center this a little better. There we go. All right. And so you see your familiar friend, Caligmatar, the giver of moss freely,
My body!
who
Kiffer of moss.
who glances with ever-piercing emerald eyes at this thing in front of her. So this is the source of all of that turmoil. Lovely that you were able to bring her here in one piece.
Are you gonna say it or am I, Colt?
You can say it.
I do not believe that this is the cause. She has a master. And I kick her in the back of the knee to bring her down to her knees.
Viantha kind of drops to her knee as she's been forcibly made to hit the ground.
I believe that you will have better luck at getting out information from her than we will, as you are magical, and we are mundane. He says with a little bit of disdain in his voice.
Caligmatar seems to really love the twist of your words with that and gives a mighty chuckle. If only you were a dragon, you might have made an interesting fellow. She turns her gaze once more back on your death cleric, deathlock individual, presently now on a knee or on knees and bound before her. So, what was your very purpose? Why did you come here? What were you sent to do? And why could I not find you? And so Viantha kind of looks at the dragon plainly, knowing that she really has not many answers, but gives as best as she can. I was given a ritual to conceal my presence and only asked to continue to summon forth the undead to besiege your lair. Those were my orders, given to me from Ularan Mortus himself. So Caligmatar kind of puzzles for a moment, thinking in a very dragonly way. A pawn. Played. But what move is ahead, I wonder? Well, you, plaything, useless thing, I will have my way with you and try to enact a greater understanding. She has her assistants, the druids, basically come forward, and they're carrying this odd, like centipede-esque looking kind of creature. It's nothing you've seen in any natural anywhere.
Something like some rotting flesh.
And maybe of a carrion or scarab type of creature. And effectively they place it upon her, where it effectively will crawls around and latches itself around her on her back, and basically see her eyes start to roll back in her undead skull. Caligmatar begins to focus the emerald eyes. You see some flare of light, as if there's something afoot as she's currently viewing. Oh, Well, that is certainly interesting indeed, but could it be? And in that moment, in that instance,
You're fucked.
Chloe Ligmatar kind of begins to shake a little bit like a tremor in her body, kind of uncontrollably, and the light from her eyes begins to return to the emerald. And she begins to go limp, falling to the floor, kind of writhing, lashing about in a large dragon way. And the onyx pendant around the neck of Viantha kind of flares in a dark purplish glow. And from this pendant, a large, ghastly form of a dragon spirit kind of swirls and mists and begins to enter into Chloe Ligmatar's form through the nostrils, almost as if she's breathing it in unknowingly. The presence of the emerald eyes on this now quivering dragon on the ground begin to shift from an emerald flare to that of a darker ruby coloration. And much as you watch this scene unfold, the two druids begin to similarly fall to the ground in front of you, unknowingly unconscious, just writhing in some kind of frothed-mouthed, like, trance state where they have no control. The writhing of Chloe Ligmatar gets so violent that she starts to bowl over stalagmites behind her with her tail. And just as quickly as this sudden and violent motion had begun, there is a sudden stillness. And the cave is quiet. And as you kind of see the form of the dragon laying there, kind of motionless on the ground, it begins to move one leg first, kind of lifting and getting used to the motion, getting up onto its legs and looking at you oddly. Viantha, on her knees now, bound before you, with eyes rolled back in her head, a sudden gasp, a death rattle leaving from her lungs as her form expires in front of you. The dragon looks at you with these now dark, lidless form eyes, no actual sense anymore of an actual form of an eye. It's just the color shaded over the pupil and everything. And this form speaks to you in a rough and almost groggy voice. I am Chardon Sirenrithal. The Ebon Death have returned. Praise be to Myrkul. And as he gains his feet once more, looking around the cave, he quickly springs forward and takes flight, flying out through the tunnel to the east, through which the dragon would normally come and go. You are suddenly left in a cave with stillness and the noise of odd footsteps and clattering noise coming from behind you to the south.
and undead boning.
You have a moment of respite, briefly, kind of taking in what just unfolded, as you hear the forms of some skeletal soldiers race to this foothold here, above, behind you, and jump down. Go ahead and let's roll initiative.
Could have just killed him.
All right.
Definitely going to take a hot second to get used to those decimals coming up. Like, that just looks like an abomination.
Boy, give me that butt. Ooh.
And one more. There we go. Okay. And look, they have the pretty decimals on the end of them. Everything is so great.
Oh.
All right. So
You'll be fine.
let me clear some of this out of the way because she's dead. They are effectively dead. And there we go. So as the scene has now unfolded, you hear the undead basically come clattering in from behind you, jumping down off the cliffside. And Holly, you are first to respond, hearing their presence made as they kind of crash down after a 10-foot drop in very unceremonious and not with any grace, kind of landing on the cave floor.
I'm gonna heft my axe off my back. I'm gonna look at Knockers over my shoulder. I told you so. I told you this was too easy. And then I'm just gonna run and come over here and take some cracks at this guy.
Okay.
They're gonna be reckless as well. But with my bonus action, before I do that, I'm gonna rage.
I would like to rage.
I would like to rage.
Like to rage.
Okay. Shit, I'm not on the right tab. There we go. So that is a hit. So it takes 13 points slashing.
Okay, and then I'll take my second hit.
That is a miss.
Oh, okay.
I had to do the math really quick on the AC.
And I'm just gonna hang out here.
Very well. Okay, Tali, you're up.
Yes, Granny doesn't go last for one. I'm so happy about. But I also still don't have Fireball. Anyways, did you say these were more spectral or like fleshy undeads?
They're kind of more spectral. They're kind of like animated bone, but also have like kind of the presence of like a ghostly form that kind of fills it out. Almost like the best way I could describe it would be like anything from the undead that you see in Pirates of the Caribbean kind of thing. Where almost like it's like spectral like that you can see the form of their presence, but underneath it it's just the undead or the the skeletal structure.
All right, cool. So Wizard's second rule, when in doubt, burn it out. 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I want to cast again as our Scorcher.
Okay.
Oh, that did jack shit for damage. Thank you, D&D.
Which one are you targeting? You targeting the one in front of Holly?
It is a line of roaring flame 30 feet long and 5 feet wide.
Okay.
Emanates from me in the direction I choose. So yes, I want to hit both of the ones in front of me.
Okay. Go ahead
I
and
will
roll some saves.
just display that real quick. No, hold on. Ignore the second one.
No problem.
Why is it not displaying? Oh, display in VTT. There it is.
Yeah.
There
That
it is.
was a really, really shit damage roll for that 3d8, and you get a 7.
Yeah, I
hit
got
two
1,
nat
1, and
ones.
5.
All right,
So
it's
pissed. That is a waste of a second level spell slot.
it's a DC 16 deck save. So,
Yeah.
all right, so the one to the south fails, and the one that is near Holly passes.
All right. Yay. So I
on.
guess the one nearest Holly takes 3 points of fire damage. Woo!
Woo!
And the one at the
Fuck
distance takes
this
7.
bitch. Yes, and the other one in the distance will take 7. What I wouldn't give to be a sorcerer right now.
Absolutely scorched.
But then I will use another 5 feet of my movement. So we'll use 20 so far to step forward, and then use my bonus action to take a whack with my scimitar.
Okay.
Because thank you, scimitar speed. Where is that? Oh, there it is.
All right, so you
What
don't
is up
hit.
with these minimum rolls? I get one good initiative roll, and then everything else is minimum.
You got to pick your battles, apparently.
That was your luck for the night.
I mean, I'll take a 0 initiative if it means I can hit like a son of a bitch.
I mean, if my minimum roll is hitting a 10, though, that means, like, I think I'm doing pretty okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, next person, I guess. I can't do jack shit.
All right. The next one up is the one to the south that was hit by the scorching column in full. They are going to kind of stride over this way and will attack Holly.
Bitch.
It will do a attack with its longsword. And attempt
Jabbity, jab,
to
jab,
hit you.
jab.
And it takes a swing.
Did it crit? Fuck you, John. Go fuck yourself.
It lands a crit.
Fuck
Uh,
you.
And the crit does, hold on, wait. 10, 3, 13, 26, does 35 slashing damage.
I take half that because I'm raging though.
Correct. So you take 18.
That's
Fucking
not
hell.
damage.
Was that bear totem?
That's
No, it's because of rage.
Does it rage?
yeah. That's
That's
just,
what I'm saying.
all
Is like
damage
that's
versus- yeah.
your level 3 was.
well, she can mix and match parts of the totems anyway, so she
Right.
just chose
Mhm.
that one first.
Gotcha.
So as its bonus action, it will use its Martial Fury trait, which allows it to strike again,
What the fuck?
like as a
Okay.
bonus action. But until the start of its next turn, all attacks against it will have advantage.
Oh, you got a rage fighter.
It's basically a reckless attack.
Y'all.
Fuck you,
Give it a
John.
fancy name.
So it's a 24,
Okay.
which hits
Okay.
for
Uh,
16 halved to 8 slashing damage,
Okay.
thus ending its maniacally spectral turn.
Nobody else please get hit by these things, okay? Just stay away unless you have HP.
Nokris, you are up.
like yours, you're getting chunked for like a quarter of your health if you weren't angry.
Yeah, and I have 133 HP, so
Okay, we're dealing with these things right quick.
So they are for serious.
Yeah, okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to move here and I'm going to attack Disa 1.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do this. So, first roll. It has advantage against it, correct?
Yes,
Because
you
of
have
its
advantage.
Martial Fury.
You have advantage against it. Yep,
19 to hit.
that is a hit.
Alright, it takes 9 points of slashing, and then I am going to smite this thing.
Okay.
And I will burn a 4th level spell slot to do it.
Okay.
Which that and
Be
I'm
garbled.
guessing this thing is undead, right?
It is.
Okay. I just want to make sure, just because my divine smite, which is Yes, it is. Against undead. Okay, so it's 68. This is radiant damage as well, just to make you aware.
Mhm.
So it takes an extra 30 points of damage on that first hit.
Okay.
And
It is still present, however, not looking so hot.
okay. And then I will do my second attack. Does a 21 hit?
It does indeed.
Okay.
For
That is another 11
11?
points of slashing damage. Is it still up?
It is not up any longer.
Okay.
You effectively cleave through its bony form, and it dissipates into a pile of bones and armor and sword laying there on the ground.
Does that
Knockers to the
mean
rescue.
down to bone?
I will then also. I will then spend a swift action to burn. I will spend 2 sorcery points to cast. Bless at 3rd level, and I will give that to Holly, Talia, and Zin.
Okay. Sorry, Cowrie. Nothing personal.
A lot of my stuff is based off DC anyway, so that wouldn't help as much as for them.
So gotta
Which
be in the
actually
front,
helps
and
me a
if
lot.
these things need to go down quickly, I figure they have the better shot of doing it if they can add another D4.
Morpheus?
So for up to a minute, you guys you can make an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends. You can roll a D4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw. And that's for up to a minute or until my concentration is broken.
Sweet.
Alright, so does thus end the turn of Nokris?
See.
Alright, so this individual here, this one appears to look more, I guess, gallant than the others, for lack of a better term. And they are going to focus their ire upon Granny, currently in front of them.
Go fuck yourself.
Alright, so they will go ahead and they get 2 strikes with their longsword. So I will take the first attack to see if I land. First attack is a miss. Second attack is a hit.
I would like to cast Shield.
Okay. Then it is a
Bring my
miss.
total AC up to a 24.
The blow is deflected by a magical energy.
I'll take one of those out of my ring.
I'm just reading one of the secondary items on the monster card here. 1 second. Okay.
That was the 14 playing cards. Tita?
No.
Oh.
Okay. So that thus concludes their turn. Calorie, you're up.
I'm gonna move to right here.
Okay.
Cast Word of Radiance on the one that attacked Talia.
Okay. So they have to make a con save.
Yep, DC 17.
Alright. They fail. So take 10 radiant.
Bonus action, I'm going to cast Sanctuary on myself.
Very well.
And end my turn.
All right. Mr. Flame Sword. Do the do.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Oof.
The one to my north.
Don't forget to add a d4 to those attacks. To hit.
All of them?
Yep.
To hit or for damage?
It is to hit.
Okay.
Get that for 1 minute unless something knocks my concentration out. Which is possible. Basically, someone decides to throw a tennis ball at me.
Exactly. Just should have had your V8.
It was a 22 hit.
A 22 does in fact hit.
For a total of 24.
Yeah.
Still standing?
Slashing and the weapon master damage in flame. Okay, so I have to pay attention to how I divvy this damage out here. 1 second. Okay. Still standing. I just realized it didn't expand to this box, so the viewers at home in Laos can see the turn order in full.
Does a 15 hit?
A 15 does not hit.
Okay. I'll add that d4 now then. How about a 16?
A 16 does not hit.
And third time. God damn it. So that was supposed to be a Great Master roll, so that would have been minus
Minus
5
5.
to that 22, which would have been a 17.
17, which does not hit.
Do that d4 again.
That is a hit.
17, so 21,
Mhm.
so it'd be 22 plus 8, so 30 damage total, 8 of which is fire.
Yep.
Still standing?
Yeah, it's still standing.
Damn. I will action surge.
Okay.
Even with the d4, that won't hit, right?
Will not.
$22.
That's it.
God damn it, it did it again. Okay, so that was actually 17
Minus-
again.
So minus 5. Yep.
21.
Is a hit.
So 23 plus 4 is 27.
Okay, still standing.
Holy fuck! These things must be like resistant to me or something. Alright, last one. $17.
Not a hit.
Damn. Alright. That will be my turn.
All right.
How's it looking? Did I fuck it up any at least?
It's not looking as great as it was a moment ago. That's for sure. It's still present. It's in worse for wear shape compared to where it was, but. All right. So is now this one's turn, where it will shuffle like so. and attempt to strike a Cowrie. So first attack with the sword for a 16, which would be
Yep.
a hit. It will do 19 points of slashing damage.
Wait, has to beat the wisdom save first.
For Sanctuary. Yep. So let's do this roll here. 14. I think that's under still, right?
That's under.
So then it fails to deliver the damage, staying its hand in mid-swing as if it thought twice, or was suddenly held fast.
Valerie has literally put himself in a bubble. I don't want to hurt anyone, and you don't want to hurt me.
All right, so then that particular entity there will end its turn. Holly, you're up.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna attack this guy in front of me. Do I still have advantage on that guy or no? Was that the other guy that died?
You do not have advantage on this guy. It was the other guy that died.
No, I'm still gonna have advantage because I'm gonna reckless attack this bastard.
Okay, very well.
These things are hurting me and I don't like it.
Okay, 21 is a hit.
Woohoo for a whopping 9 damage. Go me.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, but you just old.
Shut up.
Does 16 hit?
16 does not hit.
Okay, can I add that d4 to it?
You can. 18.
Doesn't.
does
18
hit.
hits? Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So it's
What
total.
can I say except you're welcome?
Okay.
That's it. That's me. Woohoo.
Okay. Granny, you're up.
Woo! Alright, let's do this. Scimitar of Speed. Green Flame Blade on the wand directly to my south.
He's getting so
So-
fidgety.
25
so
attack roll.
25 is a hit.
9 slashing. 9 fire. And then 8 fire to his buddy to his... Well,
To the
my
side.
left.
Yeah.
His...
Pew pew.
Right?
So 9, 9, and then 8 splash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so be
9 slash. 9 fire. 8 splash.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel like this is kind of one of the big conclusion fights, so I feel like I kind of want to blow my action surge
okay.
after I take my bonus action to attack first.
All right.
I want to do that to the one to my south.
All right. Very well.
Scimitar swing. Wait, hold on. Do I get advantage because I'm flanking
You
with
get
Zen?
advantage because of flanking. Correct.
Okay, so I will roll one more time with a normal roll then. Thought about that literally as I was pressing the button.
All right, so 20 would be a hit for the damage of the original roll, which would be 8.
Yep. And then still standing.
Mhm.
Still looking healthy.
It's debatable, but still
I
standing.
mean, it's undead.
yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say they're undead. I don't think there's much health there.
Right. Let's properly define the healthy look of undead.
That sounds like a discussion I don't want to have. In fact, I'd rather than just burn.
That's
Okay,
fair.
now we will use the action surge.
Burn, baby,
And
burn.
we're gonna green flame blade again.
Okay. So 23 is a
Burn,
hit.
baby, burn, indeed.
23 is a
Just
hit.
go burn.
Yes, for
So-
9 slash, 9 fire, and 12 splash.
12 splash. Okay. Landing the hit on this one of the green fire blade, they erupt into green flames before dissipating into a pile of bones and gear on the floor before you.
Woo! Let's do this. How's the other one looking?
He's looking alright.
Damn.
He hasn't been beseeched upon by like a 30 some odd, radiant damage smite from a paladin as of yet.
You
I
say
think
yeah.
that's a hint, Nocris.
You say yet.
That's a very, very strong nudge, nudge, tap, tap from Talia as she conspicuously does not move 5 feet downward.
It's like, no,
So-
please don't. Please move into position so it doesn't want to eat me anymore.
Just saying, if you go here, you'll have advantage.
I didn't even realize that. I am gonna move there. Are you all done with your turn, though?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Okay.
All you,
Alright.
buddy. Do your thing.
5,
Kill
10,
that
15, 20.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Then a horsey's bad horse.
Bad horse, bad horse, bad horse.
Let's do this with advantage for flanking. Ooh. 16 to hit.
Is a hit.
12 points of slashing, and I will burn another spell slot. I will burn a. I'll burn a 3rd level. So that's 5d8. For an additional 27 points of radiant damage.
So as you strike at it with your radiant smite after the cleaving action, the thunderously magical energies of light dissipate the form, turning it to nothing. And you are left with
Melts away.
you are left with simply a dull ass sword that falls on the ground.
Clang, clang.
Clang clang.
Goes the trolley.
And so the room is quieted once more.
Upon that one's death, Zin immediately walks over to the corpse of the necromancer
Mhm.
and retrieves the medallion that it was clutching.
Okay, very well. So you can add to your inventory a basically, let's call it an onyx necklace.
It doesn't feel any more important, I take it, since the entity that was probably residing in it has left.
Well, I mean, to your stone hands, it feels like a gem. So
Excellent.
there you go.
Immediately looks to the others and says, we must return to Leyland.
Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion I know what our dark shadow was. And yep.
Well, that would explain why we saw a vision of old Gnawbone attacking Leyland.
Probably.
Yep, that's not good. Yeah, post haste. Let's go.
Wait a minute. So was the dragon like undead? Yeah, Ebonheart was supposed to be an undead dragon, so we still have a fiendish presence to deal with.
We don't know where that fiendish presence went, though.
Oh yeah. That thing could either be gone or it could be Ebonheart. Technically, pinging is also a fiendish presence. Because remember,
Ebon Death. Yeah.
Ebon Death was in the Onyx that we just had. It was a soul. It just needed a body, and it found one. It found a very good one.
I thought well, whatever.
You thought what?
I thought possession of that type, like you had to, for lack of a better term, kill the host, right? So does that mean that Caligula is dead?
Hard to say.
That was a lot of thrashing it did for her.
I was gonna say, speaking from my experience in D&D, as I'm sure Junie knows as well, you don't need to be dead to possess a body, or the body doesn't need to be dead, or the soul rather.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Right.
is Caligula Matar currently housing 2 souls?
No idea. We don't know. Our characters have never encountered magic such as this.
Let's
so.
think back into history from a dimension that didn't exist because, we retconned the shit out of it. What happened to that dragon that you skull fucked, for lack of a better term?
I still
Um,
feel good.
What about the presence that told you that you wanted to yeet yourself into the water?
Those were presences, though. They weren't so.
That was
For
a
lack
demon
of a better
stuck inside of
term.
a rock.
Yeah, that was a demon reaching out from its prison, right? So
Mhm.
does that, like, by that same knowledge,
Yeah.
that would mean that the soul of Ebonheart is still in the stone, which means that if I destroy this, I destroy the soul carrying capacity of the gem, right? And thus release the soul. I don't know what that does because I'm not a fucking necromancer versed in the arts, but I know somebody who is. Oh, Gallia!
Well, I mean, hey.
Well, Galio might be. Oh shit, Galio, no!
Yeah.
Well, no, we warned him.
Yeah, we warned him. But how fast the old bones react? Talia, how fast do your old bones react?
Quicker than you can think.
I want to.
Whip you with a wooden spoon.
Are you
No.
sure they react at all?
I'm gonna throw this out there. The dude has a dimensional house. Okay.
I was gonna say he's magic. Like he can
know.
get out of there pretty quick.
Gallio
I'm
is
fucking
just
magical. What are you trying to say?
that you're not as good as Gallio.
Yeah, but
John
Gallio's real.
Gallio is John, okay? John is just this crotchety
John's
old
Gallio.
man in this fucking tower who just, when he
Okay.
doesn't want to deal with
All
shit.
right. All right, let's tone that down there, buddy, before I crit you.
But yeah, we should probably make post days. We probably popped up a lot of things. And I look at Holly. Yes, I know it was too easy. I was agreeing with you.
I'm just saying, I told you so.
What would have happened if we just killed her to begin with, by the way?
Then
we still would have
brought
had
the
to
corpse.
bring the dead body.
It,
No,
It-
was destroyed.
honestly, like, looking back on it, when she saw us and when she saw that she was fucked either way, she clutched the ebon necklace, right? The onyx necklace, which would mean that even had we noticed that she had done that, and we just killed her and took the necklace to Caligula
Still bring it
Matar,
back.
or brought her corpse to Caligula Matar, the end goal was that Caligula Matar and this necklace met, which is what I guess needed to happen.
Right, because even if we had brought back and not told her anything, it still would have been in our possession. And for all we know, could have just been like, fuck you guys, I'm a magical intelligent item. Piss off, it's my turn to shine.
Well, given that those magical intelligent items did piss off, I believe we now have an unoccupied dragon lair that we can loot before we post haste back to Leyland. So
I suggest we do that after we deal with Leyland, because we know where this is, and this ain't going anywhere.
On
Because
top of that, we don't know that Caligula Matar is dead. So if we happen to defeat this entity, and it just comes back and is like super thankful for us saving it, it's an evil dragon or whatever, it might just be pissed off and we'll have to kill it too, but whatever.
Yeah, you guys, we can't just take my friend's stuff. Not
Shut
until
up,
we know
get
she's
out,
dead.
you fucking hippie.
Most definitely not a hippie.
She is definitely a low-level hippie that just
Low
likes
level.
yelling and screaming and waving around shiny objects.
We're still
Kind of
talking
like the
about
cat in the
me.
background.
But yeah, we should probably head back as fast as we can because things about to get fucked.
And away we go.
All right,
Green light.
So everyone is going to evacuate the lair and head back to the city of Leyland. All right, so let me change maps here.
The party is coming. The party is coming.
Meanwhile, Bear is being a fucking asshole under my desk going at cables. I just made him run off,
Oof,
so I had
big
to go.
no-no.
All right, so let me get my little magic drawing stick out here. All right, so we are currently here at the lair. It is probably late morning-ish, probably like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We begin the transit, making good time as best as we think we can because we are unsure of the happenings of the world. From your senses and recollection of what you saw as the vantage of this draconic form flying out from the cave lair, you saw a sudden and quick turn to the west, which you believe is probably sending them somewhere down this way, towards the Mayor of Dead Men. So, as you mount up and begin to leave the forest, you get into your party, wagons and things, and you make haste, and you begin the journey out of the forest, back to the foothills, reaching this vantage point where you break from the tree cover. It has now kind of become like mid to late afternoon. The sun is still in the sky, so that is fortune for you. And you begin to make the journey across the hills, around these foothills, and reach the road right about here, just about the time of the onset of darkness. So, would you like to make camp? Would you like to continue onward into the night on the road? How would you like to travel?
I would like to make camp. That way, if we have to kill a giant undead dragon, we're not doing so while exhausted.
But time is also of the essence. If that dragon decides to turn back to Leyland, they're not going to know what's going to hit them.
Is there a point in trying to save a town if we can't do so?
Would you rather die in your bed to a dragon attack, or would you rather die fighting and defending your home?
Bed, because then I wouldn't know what would happen.
No.
I feel like the dragon would make sure you knew what was happening.
We push forward. This is not up for discussion. And Nokris just goes.
Holly takes things you can actually see what's going on.
He nudges Scylla, his animal companion, and he's like, let's go. We have to make haste. He doesn't care if anyone else follows him or not.
No, Holly's right on his heels.
Zin dismounts and ties his warhorse to the cart and walks over to Talia's horse, ties her horse to the cart, picks up Talia, puts her in the back of the cart, walks over to my giant cow friend,
This is our
puts them in
dream.
the back of the cart.
I was already going after Holly and I'm not waiting.
Well, whatever.
Joke's on you. My horse is already tied to the cart, and I'm driving.
Oh, well, if you're driving, then I'm sleeping.
You don't have spell slots. Get in the front seat, you young whippersnapper.
Oh, so suddenly.
All right,
Is
so
our,
in whatever forcible manner or not.
Nokris has made the decision. We're not stopping.
is our wagon fitted to be able to contain a Goliath?
Not really.
I'm of humanoid height. I'm
Yeah.
just 8 feet tall. I weigh about 300 pounds.
he technically is still considered a quote-unquote medium creature.
And
He just
Okay.
gets to count as
Yes.
large when it is to his benefit.
and
In this
I
case,
could-
pulling, dragging, or tugging large objects.
I could pull this cart by myself, no problem.
It would
But
be a
why
bit
do that
slower.
when we bought 2 horses to do so? Also, I think the rest of you are idiots for charging ahead like that, but who am I to say that?
All right, so
Back
the party-
in
Not
here.
with his job. This
the
is what he does.
party disperses down the road, 2 in front, the rest, I guess, behind. And so you make your way back to the city of Leyland. Let me switch.
I do make sure to go at a pace that's not going to kill the animals, but
Right. So you ride through the night, and you reach the town gates, which I don't have them depicted on this map because I haven't loaded in the map from the next module. However, the gates have been reconstructed. You actually come upon actual gates, not just ruined entryways. The defenses of the city have been fortified and finished. It appears to be an actually defensible location, potentially. You see that things among the town have also kind of taken a little different shape. The tower seems to be in a more reconstructed and possibly effectively operational status. And as you reach the town, it is the early hours of morning, light filtering in very so subtly from the east. You hear no screams, no cries, no alarms, no mayhem. No thing is on fire inside the city. You see a couple of sleepy guards simply standing there at the front gate watching you, seeing that you've come back, recognizing you, and opening the gate for your entrance. And so entering, you find yourself in the city of Leyland, in all of its situational glory, more or less a paled existence of its former self, but more or less complete in its processing of being reconstructed. And so, I will take us to the epilogue section of this module, where I will take us into setting the scene for next week. So here in Leyland, you find yourselves, once more, at the familiar town, with your familiar places and more hustle bustle than you have seen. However, things are now more complete than they had been. The newly built houses and thatched roofs line muddy streets, and at the very center of Leyland, yet again, you see the House of Thalvar, a tall wizard's tower rising like a beacon, 4 times the height of any building around its area. The streets quieted in the early morning, all ready and alight to fill with commerce in the days to come. The walls complete, like I noted, the gatehouses, an additional stable outside the gates to the north, where the one that had been there prior was in somewhat disarray. And you find yourselves at the center of town, where everything seems to be normal. Nothing out of sorts appears to be afoot, but something in the back of your mind is stirring, making you think and question, when might this peaceful morning end? Will it be today? Will it be tomorrow? Only time will tell. And so, we'll pick up next week for the continuation of Module 3, called
Woo!
Divine Contention.
oh boy.
Having completed Chapter 2, Sleeping Dragons wake. Yep, there we go. You have successfully completed the second module, and thus we will have a level up for everybody before beginning next week. So everyone gets to roll forward to 13. I am going to be working on some additional things to weave into the story that involve back stories of characters and kind of motivations and things like that. So I've already looked through most of it or discussed with people already. It'll all should be present, so expect that that'll be coming down the pipe. If we're going to be making an exchange of characters or any other side story element like that to kind of make a swap of characters, just kind of let me know if we're going to be doing that and when you would like to do that, and if it seems to fit with the current timings. I don't want to necessarily just be like a flip of a coin, just all of a sudden you show up and it's like boom, bop them out. I'll kind of see if we can make a more exciting exit than just kind of being an abrupt swap suddenly. But yeah, that's all we got for this week. We'll pick up with Divine Contention next week. But yeah, remember, level up to level 13.
Yo.
Yeah. That's
Level
that.
13. So fancy.
I'm tempted to just take Fireball for my new spell.
I get Relentless Rage at level 11 Barbarian. That's exciting.
It is. You get to go on and on and on with your rage.
Yeah.
I think I am going to just level up Sorcerer, which is not too fancy.
And everyone say good night to Laos. I'm gonna turn
Good
that
night,
off.
Laos.